All right, guys, if you're in the market for an electric cargo bike, you're going to want to check out the Letrigo Minivan SE. This bike has some really unique safety features, and it also is in a unique category, having 24-inch wheels. Now, one thing that kind of intrigued me about Letrigo is that they just make two different models. They make the Minivan SE, which is this model, and then they make the minivan version. Now, the SE is the lower price version, coming in right under $1,600 as of right now making this video. But you can get the minivan version, and it's their top of the line model that's over 2,000 bucks, but it's a mid-drive cargo bike. Now, my particular version of this bike, it came with the front basket and the kid carrier in the back, or a passenger carrier. Now, I'm just kind of casually cruising here, and this bike is easily doing 18 miles an hour. I've got it put in turbo mode. Let's see what it can get up to. It is definitely not limited to 20 miles an hour. Well, it is limited to 20 miles an hour, but it takes us up over it. I imagine I can get into the app and turn this thing into a Class 3. I'll have to try that here after a while. But right now, cruising around as a Class 2 e-bike, this screen is super nice. Nice little color display. Changes colors for every mode that you're in, so you know real quick by just glancing at it if you're in your favorite mode. And it's pretty bright out, and I can still see this screen really well. We'll stop over here and take a look at this bike. It handles really well. I do like that this is a 24-inch wheeled bike. All right, so we're stopped here, and let's take a look at the Letrigo Minivan SE and some of its details. Overall, I think the frame design looks really, really good. There are some unique things on this that I haven't ever seen before. I have never seen this before. This is like some sort of, I'm assuming it's a stabilizer, because sometimes cargo bikes can get a little bit crazy on the front end and get a little bit of speed wobble. Having a spring here probably does prevent that from happening, but I'm not really sure what this is, and I haven't really found any information on it. Maybe I need to dig a little bit deeper or send Letrigo an email asking them what this is. This is a cool feature right here that I don't know if this is what their intended use is, but anytime I see holes in a frame right here, I just assume that this is for a bike lock. You could wrap a bike lock through there, or maybe a strap through there to strap something down in your basket. So a little neat little feature there. I like to see little pockets in the frames to where you can add locks and things like that. But check this out. This is something I have never seen on a bike before. Side lights on both sides. Now, I can't figure out if I can turn these off, but why would you want to? This really adds some pop to it. People can see you going down the road. I really do like this. At first, I was surprised. I was like, what are these things? But it turns out, nice side lights, and you can't miss this bike going down the road. And if this was at night, dude, those things would just pop out and glow, and you would not have to worry about getting hit while you're going down the road. But check it out. This is the kid carrier, is what I like to call it. It's got nice little hand foam grips here, 2 levels of them for your kiddo. It's got a back seat right here, a nice padded area for them to sit down on. And then it's got these little foldable pegs in the back, and then this little plastic kind of blocker there, so their little feet don't get caught into the disc brakes or into the spokes. Now, looking back down here, I did put the pegs in the very back because the seat rest is right here, but they do have an option for another set of pegs. So if you have 2 small little kids, you could probably fit them on here just fine. Now, this bike can handle upwards of 450 pounds, so it's got a huge weight limit on it, which is ideal for a cargo bike, especially if you're going to be carrying kids or maybe some groceries, maybe put some stuff up front. And then you also have to add in your own weight as the rider. Now, this particular bike does have a 750 watt rear hub motor, and that's got a 48 volt, 14 amp hour battery that slides in right here. So nice, good battery size for a cargo bike. Usually you don't need much more than that. These aren't bikes that you're going to be taking on 50, 60 mile trips. These are bikes that you're going to be taking to the store and then running back home, maybe going to the school to pick up some kids. So You don't need a huge battery, and I don't recommend a huge battery on a cargo bike because getting rid of as much weight as you possibly can lets you have more cargo on the bike than if you were to have that weight taken up by extra batteries. Now, most cargo bikes have these 2-foot kind of kickstands. This one's actually kind of unique. It's a pretty narrow design, and it seems really, really robust. And it's got these nice little feet that are completely adjustable. There's a little screw on each side of these, so you can adjust this and make it a little bit higher or a little bit lower if you'd like. Now, these are 24 by 2.6 inch wide tires. They're Cho-Yang, and that's a brand that I have ridden quite a bit in the e-bike world, and so I have pretty good faith that these are going to be nice tires in the long run. And honestly, this 24-inch setup is actually pretty cool. I'm really excited to be able to ride a 24-inch cargo bike, because most of the cargo bikes that I ride are going to be 20 inches, or they're going to be that bigger 26-inch tire. I'm not a big fan of the 26-inch cargo bike, but I do like the 20-inch. This 24 is cool because it's in a totally different category of its own. Now, just taking a look up front here, you do get some nice ergonomic grips, a typical pretty standard throttle, and an Aventon style actual control system here, which this one's one of my favorites out of all of them that I've used over the years. This one's just a really nice control system, allowing you to raise your pedal assist level up and down, go through the menu system, power the bike on and off. And then you've got some nice Tektro brakes. I'm surprised they went with Tektro. A lot of bike brands aren't going with the name brand products like Tektro. They'll go with some off-brand. Maybe they'll label them themselves. But having Tektro brakes are phenomenal. If you've watched this channel long enough, you know I love Tektro brakes. And you're going to get 180 mil rotors front and back. And these are actually 4-piston, massive stopping power on this cargo bike. Now, looking at the rest of the handlebars, you can ignore this. This is for my drone, but we've got the screen that's right up here, nice and compact, but gives you all the information that you would really ever need. And then you've got your Shimano 8-speed setup right here. Nice undermount shifter. Big fan of undermount shifters, and a big fan of whenever they go with at least an 8-speed. We see too many 7-speeds these days. It's nice to see a manufacturer putting a little bit more money into their bike. Now, this does have an adjustable stem, so you can customize it to your fit and feel, which is really nice. And then you've got this nice big basket. Check this thing out. Super heavy duty. I don't know how much this can actually hold, but man, this thing is made tough. And buried down in here, you do get a headlight with a reflector. One of the cool things is you can have this front basket on. You don't have to move that headlight. Most bikes that have a front basket, you have to move the headlight on top of the basket. I like it whenever you can keep them on the actual fork. That way it moves with the direction that you're turning. Now, it does come with metal fenders, both front and back, so you don't have to worry about getting wet if you do get stuck in the rain or go through some puddles. Then looking at the back here, you do get a tail light, which acts as a brake light, and you also have some turn signals built in too. All right, let's put this in eco and see what we can get the speed up to. And this is a great first ride on this bike. This bike just feels really comfortable. It feels like a bigger bike, but not so big that it's not manageable. It feels comfortable for me. I'm 5'11", and this bike fits me really, really well. No comfort issues whatsoever. And there's a ton of room to drop that seat down. So if I was a little bit shorter, I wouldn't have a problem getting on or off this bike and taking it down the road. But on eco, I'm comfortably going about 12 miles an hour, just lightly pedaling, turning up to tour. Don't feel a difference at all in tour. Norm, which I guess that means normal. Again, just lightly pedaling, 13 miles an hour, not much difference. Sport kicks in just a little bit more there. Going about, oh, it's wanting to pull, 14.5 miles an hour. I'm gonna put it in turbo. Again, lightly pedaling. That's getting me up there. We know that these will get you up to 20 miles an hour. Put a little bit more pressure on these pedals. Oh yeah, turbo mode is really nice. Now let's see if the throttle, how the throttle does. Oh yeah, throttle's got some juice. Oh, throttle took me up to 23 there for a second. feel like I might need to put some air in the back tire. I didn't air that up at all. Super comfortable upright bars. I love these kind of like upturn style bars. They just let you sit upright and they don't look really obnoxious. I'm gonna stop here and take a look at the drivetrain. Okay, like I said, this has a Shimano 8-speed shifter, but looking down here, this has a 48 tooth crankset up front. It's got a little chain kind of tensioner right down there so your chain doesn't bounce around, because these cargo bikes have a super long chain on them. This is a full-size cargo bike, and then you've got that Altus Shimano rear derailleur and a Shimano HG setup in the back. Very, very nice. This is going to have plenty of range for riding around as a cargo bike. Now, a little bit more about the motor. This is a 750 watt motor, but it's got 90 Newton meters of torque. So you've got a lot of power to be able to get around with extra cargo in the back. This is going to have a peak power of 1200 watts. So plenty of power. This minivan is truly ready to take the kids out on an adventure. Check this out. This is something really nice to see. The multiple bottle bosses right up here. You could put a lock there, you could put a bottle cage there, you could put all kinds of accessories on these bottle boss mounts. All right, let's go ahead. Let's test out these brakes and see how good they do. We're gonna get up 23 miles an hour. Oh yeah, Tektro brakes are so good. I haven't found a Tektro brake that I don't like. And the fact that these are 4-piston hydraulic, these are mountain bike brakes that they put on a cargo bike. Definitely a good quality brake. All right, let's head over to the big hill and test out the 90 Newton meters that they claim will help push this bike up big hills. All right, let's put this in turbo mode, fastest mode it can go, and fly up this hill. Now this thing is currently set to max out at 20, so I think it'll do pretty good. I can already feel the power in this motor. Now, if you're not familiar with my reviews, this hill is 19% up here past this driveway. So it's definitely a big hill. I'm gonna have to get over because my drone will hit that tree if I don't. And I could probably hear that drone whining behind me, so sorry about that. But right now we are at the 19% hill portion of the hill, and this thing's doing really well. My test is typically, can it keep it above 10 miles an hour without a lot of effort? And this thing is doing really well. The 90 Newton meters is really, truly paying off on this particular setup. Fantastic. Yeah, this thing has plenty of power. If you're worried about toting around kids or groceries, don't worry about it in this thing. It's definitely got your back. That was no problem getting up that really big hill. Performed better than what I thought it would ever do. Amazing. Good job, Letrigo. The Minivan SE has got plenty of power. Now going back down this steep hill, this thing has really good control. Like, I feel really stable. Now I'm not pushing it because honestly, I find that pushing cargo bikes doesn't really serve a purpose. These bikes aren't meant to go distance, and they're not meant to go for high speeds. As I've said a few times in this review already, they're just meant for running to the store, picking up the kids, just those errands. So I find it really appropriate in having a cargo bike that is a class 2. And if this thing can get up to a class 3, then that's fantastic. But really, most of the time, you just need a class 2. So that was my initial ride on the Letrigo Minivan SE, and I've got to say, this bike rides really smooth. I'm super impressed with a lot of the features that come on this bike. I really like the accessories that they sent. They all seem to be really well made. This kid carrier seems really stout. If I had small enough kids, I would definitely not hesitate putting them in this carrier and taking them on a little adventure. Also, this front rack is extremely sturdy. I mean, it's got more bars on it. It could probably hold 50, 60 pounds. But they also have a couple accessories like these little straps that came with this particular rack. And then also, if you don't use this, it has a couple of straps that will fit on there too. But overall, the bike is really pretty impressive. I really like the color scheme on it, the frame design. I absolutely love the 24-inch wheels. I wasn't sure what I would think of them because I've ridden 20-inch wheels and I've also ridden 26-inch wheel cargo bikes, and I've always been a bigger fan of the 20-inch wheels. But with this, the 24-inch wheels felt really comfortable for my 5'11" height. And I think that even if you were around 5'5", this bike would still feel extremely comfortable to ride around. Now I think Letrigo actually hit in the right price point for this, coming in under 1,700 bucks. Now, like I said earlier, they do have a mid-drive option, so if you're more into a mid-drive style e-bike, you can definitely pick one of those up. However, it is quite a bit more expensive, coming in over $2,000, right around 2,700 bucks right now for the mid-drive option. Now, a couple things I noticed after I got done with my ride is whenever you turn on the turn signals, these side lights actually change color and they kind of strobe. That way, if somebody is right next to you, they can actually see that you're trying to turn. I do like the fact that they added this spring here for some stabilization. At least I believe that's what that's for. I couldn't find any documentation on what this actually is on their website. Only a few pictures actually show this on there, but it does look like that is for some stabilization to prevent any type of speed wobble. Now, I do have to say, I didn't experience any speed wobble at all on any of my rides that I've been on this particular bike. Now, a couple of things that this bike lacks that you might be looking for is maybe a really long range. With a 14 amp hour battery, you're gonna max out at about 40 miles. However, 14 amp hour batteries are pretty common on a lot of bikes of this category. I would like to see personally a 20 amp hour option, just so if somebody wanted to buy the extended range, they could actually do that. I didn't see an option for that on their website. Also on their website, they do say that this will go up to 28 miles an hour, either a class 2 or a class 3 e-bike, but I could not get this to switch over. In the menu system, it just basically tops out right around 20 miles an hour. So a class 2, 20 mile an hour max really does seem appropriate for a cargo style bike. But overall, my first experience with Letrigo e-bikes and seeing that they've only got 2 models on their website, I'm assuming that these are the only 2 bikes that they've ever made, is the SE and the regular minivan version. I'm pretty impressed. This is a very nice bike. It feels really comfortable. It feels really safe to be riding around. I do like some features like the Tektro brakes, the Shimano 8-speed, and this nice color screen up here, and the adjustable stem. So you're getting a lot of features for the money. You just have to figure out whether a cargo bike is going to be right for you.